So let's talk about the inevitable. There will be a time when life gets too much. Perhaps you become extremely busy in your second job and have to put in more of an effort to help your colleagues out. Or perhaps you get certain peaks at certain times of the year when there is more demand and all creativity is shelved to the side. And you have to figure out how to survive and be creative at the same time. So it's now September, this is now early September, the school terms are starting, we have a sudden influx of young students wanting lessons, adults wanting lessons as well, groups wanting lessons. Because it's September, it's a new term, a lot of kids have gone back to school and we have teachers working across the board. However, we're still very short-staffed in terms of the number of teachers we have. So we have to sort of pull together right now and try and cover as much work as we can without losing too many of our students, retaining them, but at the same time doing our own stuff as well. So the aim here is pretty much to do the long hours of work and do the long teaching days, but at the same time stick to a writing schedule. And I'm trying to show how possible and how challenging or not so challenging that can be. I'm still very keen to maintain my productivity even though my workload has increased, and this is something I believe we all struggle with. It's difficult to be creative in an environment that's not stimulating. So how do you make yourself be creative when you're at your place of work and you're not in a comfortable environment? Well, this is my little hack. When I was a kid, my grandparents and my parents were always going on about a little at a time or small. So what I do is I just give my phone a voice command with whatever time I want to set it to. I always say start with 5 minutes, but I tend to start with 15. I sit down for 15 minutes and I write in between my teaching breaks. So I want to see what my word count is at the end of a full working day and how much sense I make of it all. Will my words be good enough to go in the book, or will it all be just a bunch of gibberish? This is a particularly grueling day as I have 7 hours of teaching. So at the moment, my Mondays are 7.5 hours of just teaching. And when I say just teaching, it's actually 7.5 hours of solid teaching. So it's quite a long day. However, I do strive to write every day, no matter how busy I am. When I say 7.5 hours of teaching, I do mean that I do have 15-minute breaks here and there, and sometimes I have a 30-minute break in between classes. But it's not something I make a habit of. It's just very busy at the moment, but I do want to take advantage of it, but I want to keep writing as well. So I have several deadlines coming up. I'm also building a fantasy storytelling channel alongside my writing channel. I have a vlog. So apart from writing my stories and books, I'm planning courses, teaching, and also scripting for my videos. That is a great deal of writing and word usage. It requires a great deal of organization and great productive output. Now, I've long since realized that pausing to take a long break can be to my detriment, especially in the run-up to the autumn, which is when the busy period kicks in. I tend to take the necessary breaks in the summer because the autumn, winter and spring seasons are extremely busy in the world of books and storytelling, so I have to be ready. I take several 15-minute breaks during the day, and don't worry, they are genuine breaks. I would never do this on a student's time. Some people wonder what the point of a break is. After all, why don't you just get home and do the writing in a more immersive environment? And I want to ask you this. Have you ever gone home after a day of teaching or a day of working? I never realized how hard teachers worked until I became one. It is relentless. I also only work in a language school where people who come here are a mixture of students of different ages. so we don't have the behavior issues or challenges we'd get in traditional schools with classes of 35 or more. So by the time you get home, you are so tired, frazzled and confused, and all you want to do is stare at a wall with a bottle of wine in your hand. Sometimes waiting till the end of the day when you have to tend to family, children, partners, pets, and a huge tidal wave of responsibilities outside our places of work means we're just too tired to follow any of that inspiration. So I say, when you're at work, put a timer on. It's fairly simple. You don't have to go rooting through your phone and getting distracted. Most modern phones will have this function. Give it a voice command, sit down, and just start typing and writing to your heart's content. In a 15-minute writing session, I am able to put out approximately 300 to 400 good words that make sense and will contribute handsomely to the story. When I'm able to have at least 5 of these sprints, I'm expecting approximately 2,000 plus words to my book. So, at the end of the day, it ended up being just over 2,000 words, and rereading my work, I'm pretty happy with it. Although editing will be needed, isn't it always? My words are clear, the plot lines are clear, and the direction I'm heading in is clear. There is hardly any gibberish, and everything makes sense, which I am extremely grateful for. I type pretty slowly, but I was still able to get that word count during my little writing sprints on the busiest day of the week for me, in an extremely busy language school. So I'm pretty relieved about that. This is just to say that if I can do it, you can do it too. I've been doing this for years and it works for me and it works well. So whether you're working in a corporate environment or a busy restaurant, try getting into writing sprints and just do 15 minutes at a time. You can do 15 minutes of dictating your words, writing by hand, or typing onto a little keyboard. Just find your way and set your creative spirit free. Until next time.